Had a great conversation this week with a gentleman that's got about nearly 10 investment properties in his portfolio. Three of those are inside super, and another sort of seven are inside of his residential portfolio. Now, what we discovered inside of that particular type of collection of assets is that he's got obviously a net income target that he's trying to achieve. However, when we look at and we extrapolate the portfolio out and we think about, is he going to achieve that goal? A lot of the properties he bought are fantastic properties. However, because everything's still in his own name, he's about to run into a constraint where he's no longer going to be able to continue to invest in that portfolio. Now when we looked at the portfolio like that, and especially the seven in his residential name, and we look at each individual property, if we look at each individual property as a separate business, right? And then we look at the cost structures of each type of asset. When you take into consideration the water rates, insurance, mortgage costs, his net profit was being eroded because of how those businesses are structured. So if you were to be a business owner and you had 7 businesses and you weren't achieving the net income that you wanted to achieve, would you keep those businesses? Would you sell those businesses? Like, what would you do? So one of the questions that I presented to him, I said, like, if we actually sold off maybe 3 or 4 of those particular assets, repurpose that capital and then allocated that capital into a better performing asset, then the net profit that he would then generate from that particular asset would then be able to be reinvested back into more assets. So because the cost structure of is impacting his ability to continue to invest in his own name, then he's not going to be able to achieve his long-term objective, because all of his money is getting eroded in these fees from owning multiple different properties. Whereas if he would have just owned maybe the 1 or 2 particular properties, the income that he's generating from that would be at a higher level, which then be able to be invested back into purchasing of more assets.